Well, hello everyone that is joining today. Happy Friday and welcome to My Amazon Guys live AMA podcast where you can join us every Friday and we'll be able to try and answer any questions that you can throw at us regarding Amazon, Seller Central, Vendor Central, or e-commerce questions in general. My name is Zachary Useche. I am the senior brand manager here at My Amazon Guy, and we are also joined by Mr. John Urban, who is also joining us as a senior brand manager. And feel free, whoever is joining us, whether you're joining us from the YouTube or the LinkedIn, to leave your comments, drop some questions, and we'll do our best to answer them.
Hello, everyone.
Awesome. We have a first question here. Not sure if I can pull that up here by Rosina. Hi, happy Friday. Happy Friday, Rosina. Please show how to view all variations under one parent in the new format of Manage All Inventory in Seller Central. I can't see my parent listings in the new Manage Inventory page.
Yeah, Rosina, how are you? I know you're a regular here on the podcast. So yes, Amazon just changed the dashboard for the managers your inventory page. So let me share my screen here so I can show you very fast here how is it that we're going to find that. So look, we're here on the Age of Sage account. So basically, right now, you have the option to go back to your old manager inventory page, just in case you don't feel comfortable with this one. But in case you don't have that option there, or you want to get familiar with the new one, you can just go down. Let's try to look here for parentage and see what are the options that we have. I'm going to show you a couple of options. For example, here, you see we have a variation family. You will see that it says here variation family, and that you have here this drop down with the 32 variation SKUs. So if I click here on this drop down, it will prompt all of the variations that belong to that parent. The other way, because sometimes what happens a lot is that we have some ASINs or listings that are not showing inside of the parentage when we are on the manager inventory page. So what I like to do, for example, is that let's say that we are here and we're not sure if one of these ASINs belong to a parentage. I take the ASIN and I go to variation wizard. I go up here where it says add the variation. So you click here, you click on the add to or update an existing variation family, and you're going to populate with the ASIN. So when you click on search, look what it's going to happen. You see, it says parent up here. You will know exactly which is your parent ASIN, and then you will have here all the detail for the childs that belong to that parent. Okay, so hope that helps.
Yeah, great question. Obviously, the managed inventory page is taking a big change, and they're still A/B testing it, I believe. But there's a lot of cool things that have been recently added to it, such as you can sort by sales now on the managed inventory page. And if you have a big catalog, sometimes that can come in handy. But great question, Rosina. Next one up is coming to us from Doug. Hi, Doug. My legacy ASIN has had 3 unauthorized sellers. I don't have a GS1 UPC, and it was created before brand registry. I've added main photo, branded packaging, and I've done a test buy, and they are different. Okay, Doug, now that you've done a test buy and you are essentially just confirming that they are different, you can then report that as a customer or as a seller to Amazon and just saying that, hey, I ordered X product and I didn't get X product, right? And a quick way to get rid of these unauthorized sellers on your listing, regardless of if you have a GS1 UPC code or not, is, and I'm assuming now that you're brand registered now, is to submit a trademark infringement report to seller support, right? And essentially, you're claiming that the listing that's being advertised, the main image that you have has a certain branded packaging and follows a trademark, and these unauthorized sellers are not providing that trademarked product, right? So another quick thing you can do there in that case, make sure to add your website. If you have a website, it's going to be further proof that you own this brand and this trademark, and you can submit images as well if you've done the test buy to get rid of them. Anything else that I missed there, John?
No. Basically, that's it. If you're already brand registered, Doc, what you can do is go through your brand registry.amazon.com, the portal, and you will see immediately. I can show you super fast, just for you to have it right away there. Look, if you go exactly what Zach was saying, you go to your brand registry Amazon.com, and you will see this green button here that says report new violation. So what you're going to do is click in here, and put your ASIN here, or you can search also by image. Of course, always putting the ASIN here would be better. You will click on search, and then you will have the option to report all of those resellers. You will click on all of the resellers, of course, not on your ASIN, and you will have the option on your right to select report the different type of violations. You will have IP violation, trademark infringement, patent infringement. So you will report in this case a trademark infringement, and you will start. You just have to follow the steps, and that's it. The other option, if that doesn't work, is to go through the Amazon.com/report/infringement, and here you will have to do exactly the same thing. Start a report, and when you click here, it's exactly the same procedure. You populate your ASIN there, and then follow the steps, and you will have like both the best of both worlds there. Okay, to report the violations.
Yep, well said. And make sure that whenever you're submitting this case, stuff in as much information as you can. Again, submit those images if you have them. Show them a website, with a branded trademark that follows the same packaging that you have, just for further proof that you own the brand. Typically, we've seen that help out a lot. So, good question as well. Thank you, Doug. I hope that helped. All right, next question coming to us from Jeffrey. Hi, Jeffrey. Unauthorized seller of one of my products has listed themselves 15 times on my listing with 15 different SKUs on the same product. Wow. How best to word the communication to Amazon to put a stop to this? Similar to what we were just talking about with Doug's question here, and it's going to be through submitting trademark infringement claims. And now there is something else here, because now you're talking about 15 different SKUs being listed 15 different times, right? You also don't want to submit too many reports, and that's why we sort of time it such that we're not submitting them daily, but we can submit them 2 or 3 times a week, because we've also seen it where you are submitting too many of these claims. It can trigger Amazon and just kind of block you from submitting any more claims. So we've seen that before, although I'll say I haven't seen that happen lately. So maybe it's Amazon just getting a little bit better at this for once. But another option is going to be to get rid of all unauthorized sellers moving forward, is going to be to list with Amazon's transparency program, where you can essentially, and I understand that not all the sellers can do this, right? There's a whole logistics process involved in that. But essentially, once you enroll into Amazon's transparency program, you can essentially add a barcode, an individualized barcode to each one of your products that gets scanned at FBA and ensures that your products are authentic, right? And that's a way to completely get rid of unauthorized sellers, right? We've essentially guided several accounts into the Amazon transparency program because they can do it. And if they can't, we go through the trademark route. The enrollment process into brand registry is a little bit I want to say tedious and repetitive, and there's like a 30 to 60-day window for it to fully take place. But once you're in the program, you're in, and everything is streamlined. You can essentially just make sure that all unauthorized sellers are off of your listing. So that's going to be another way as well.
Yeah, totally. And one more thing, Jeffrey, make sure, I am assuming that Amazon has been taking down those resellers and they keep coming back. It's what I it's happening. So you can, with this, you're already eligible for transparency program, as Zach is mentioning. Now, one thing that you need to make sure is that your trademark is not on pending status, that it's fully registered. Okay, because remember that when we do our trademark in front of the USPTO, we'll have that 1 year period where we're going to be on pending status. So we will have all of the brand register privileges on Amazon, but then contradictory, it's very contradictory. You cannot, at the same time take those unauthorized resellers down as we wish, because basically because of that. So, and even if you want to enroll to the transparency program, you need your brand to be fully registered. So just for you to take that into account.
Absolutely. Awesome. The Thinkerish has a question. If a product is having organic sales, why bother with PPC? Ooh, great question.
This is a good one. Yeah,
This is a good
go
one.
for it.
Because obviously it's kind of intuitive. You're thinking, right? Hey, if we're getting organic sales and it has good organic placement, why even invest in PPC? And the reason for that is because simply put, if you don't invest in PPC, you are leaving sales on the table. And we say that a lot here at Mag, because you can have a steady streamline of organic sales coming through your organic placements, but PPC through a dedicated, keyword research and segmentation strategy gets you more sales that you would otherwise be leaving on the table for competitors to be capturing, right? And that's where you can make sure your organic search terms are not cannibalizing with your PPC, and you're really using PPC as a way to get some of those incremental sales, like I mentioned. Um, Again, I would say for 99.9% of Amazon accounts, you need PPC to stay competitive, to remain ahead of your competition, and to essentially not be leaving any sales on the table.
Yep, totally. Yeah, probably what it's happening here is that you have a very renowned brand already, and people goes to Amazon already looking for your brand. So you feel that you don't have to do anything, and you're getting sales. So that's perfect because you have, I mean, like the 80% of the battle already won. So PPC will allow you, as Zach was mentioning before, to get those new to brand customers, because you already have the branded sales coming in. So you will see, and we see clients that we have here, that your profitability, your TACOS, that is the metric that is going to measure our advertising against our total sales, is going to be super low, and you will have a lot of options to play with, to target competitors, to do and to expand, of course, the name of your brand with some sponsor brand campaigns, etc., etc. So yeah, that's like the perfect situation, for an Amazon seller.
Yeah, it's exactly. If you are getting organic sales, you can scale a bit better with that PPC investment for sure. You have that proof of concept already.
Yeah.
And another thing I would add there is always think of PPC and your audience in a funnel, right? Where the more broader you go, the more broader the audience you're targeting, and could result in a higher ACOS or someone that's considering your listing in your brand, but not necessarily investing into a purchase. Whereas if you go more down the funnel and become more refined with your keyword targeting, that's where you're targeting that loyal customer base that's probably already getting some organic sales. So you can kind of think of PPC as that added weight, that added piece of marketing that gets you more top line revenue. Awesome. Great question.
Beautiful.
Shark Athletics says, hi, happy Friday. I'm looking to combine two of my ASINs. Okay. When I tried to do it, I'm met with listings aren't identical. I double checked and everything is the same. Why is this coming up? Yeah. So what you're trying to do here is called an ASIN merge, if I understand correctly. And I've done a few of these before. The first thing you want to make sure of is that your listings are in fact identical when it comes to images, when it comes to your copy. That means your title, bullet points, and description, and even your backend SEO and A plus content. Just make sure to cover your base and essentially convince Amazon that these two ASINs are the same. And the way an ASIN merge works is that, let's say you have ASIN 1 and ASIN 2, you're going to be wanting to merge one of these ASINs to the existing ASIN. So you'd have two ASINs, and in the end, you would have one. So you're not creating a new ASIN, you're merging one of them to an existing one. How do you select which ASIN to merge to? Choose the one with the higher BSR, right? So the one with the higher bestsellers rank is the one you'd want to keep, and then you can merge that other ASIN with the high BSR ASIN. And what you get out of that is consolidated to one ASIN. You get your reviews combined, and essentially you get two products within your catalog. Now you can just focus on that one listing. So when you try to do it, you're met with listings aren't identical. That's the first thing I'd check, is just make sure you're covering yourself fully. A plus content and SEO as well, even though it might not make a difference, but just make sure you have it. And if that still isn't working, ticket with seller support and provide some proof that these are the same products. You can send them images as well. We've gotten through a couple merged ASINs via ticketing on seller support because we've been met with the same issue, even though everything is identical. But just that first step is going to be to make sure that they're identical, and then ticket with seller support and provide them with all the information.
Yep, and one thing there is that remember that not all of the attributes are going to be listed on the back end on Seller Central. So you may be having some discrepancies between what you have or what you're looking at on your Seller Central account and what really is sticking on Amazon. So the best way that you can guarantee that you will have identical fields is downloading flat file for that specific ASIN, okay, and copy pasting, one row to the other, and then you won't have any mistakes or any doubts that you have everything identical. Okay, so what I did before, you go to the variation wizard, for example, for that specific ASIN, you download the template there, and then you just have to copy paste the ASIN and change, of course, the ASIN or the SKU name there. Okay, and that's it.
Yep, exactly. Awesome. And then a follow-up question. Also, another question. I recently enrolled in Brand Registry. When I tried to enroll my products in Vine, I'm faced with error 414, no eligible offers. Not sure why this is. Any thoughts? I'm not exactly sure what that specific error message is relating to, but once you get that error message, Amazon Vine will provide you with a link for all their eligible criteria that you need to meet. It has to be an FBA listing for one. It has to have less than 30 reviews on your PDP. If you have 30 or more, you cannot enroll into Vine. There's several other criteria, so I would just check that list and make sure you're covered here.
Yep, totally. I agree, Zach. That's it. And also, you have to be enrolling a new product. It cannot be a refurbished product or a used offer. The other thing here is that if you're maybe losing your buy box and you don't have the buy box, or you're doing FBM Okay, so remember that you have to be FBA, as Zach mentioned before. Has You need to have less than 30 reviews. So basically, that error means that your offer, the one that you want to enroll in by, is not meeting the eligibility criteria. Okay, so you have to check, look for the eligibility criteria for Vine and see if you're meeting all of the requirements.
Awesome. Sabahat Khan. Sorry if I mispronounced your name there. But he has a question. Please clear the point of title character limit 80 characters and bullet points. Amazon provides you 5 bullet points with a 100 character limit for each bullet point. Using the entire space provided to you is very important. Yes, it is. You should write your bullet points in a way that you get all your profitable keywords in a way that it reads well and entices the reader to make a purchase. 100%. The goal here is twofold. Whenever you're writing your copy, again, that means your title, your bullet points, and your description, is to make sure that you're stuffing in all your high quality and relevant keywords into your copy, right? So that indexes and ranks for SEO. And then also make sure that you're providing the customer with all the information needed to make an informed purchase decision, right? So that's the twofold goal here. Number one is SEO, and that's kind of the main important reason, just because most customers are not going to be reading each of the 5 bullet points, right? You might get a few here and there that do. And then for those that do, making sure that you stuff it with all the product information, highlighting its features, its benefits, all that good stuff into your bullet points, so that you can also have a conversion element to that, to your copy.
Yep, totally. And Sabahat or Ken, yeah, those 80 characters limit that you're mentioning are going to be category related. So you will find that for some categories, I believe automotive and industrial probably are 80 characters. Then you will have some categories that will ask you for 150 characters on your title, and then most of them will go for 200 characters. So depending on the category, and the same for the bullet points, you will have a limit, a character limit, for those places. But and now we cannot use emojis. That's a new one of the new things that Amazon just came up with.
Yep. So no more emojis in your bullet points. If you have them, I think they're going to automatically remove them, but you're better off just doing it yourself, just to be on the safe side here. And yeah, like John mentioned, character limit can be category dependent for titles. Awesome. MJ says, I'm trying to change the manufacturer name in the category flat file, but it won't change. There's a lock on it. How do I unlock it to change it? So the way to do that, if the flat file option is not sticking, and that's not the change, the attribute that you want it to be, the other way to do it here is ticket with seller support. And persistence is key here, because we had a client recently that was trying to change their expiry on the back end of their product, and we had a very hard time doing that. We saw that lock, like you're mentioning, and how do I unlock it? We persisted with seller support and insisted them to change it, provided documentation that they were requiring, just so that it would. Now, when it comes to a manufacturer name, you can do the same thing here, and essentially ticketing with seller support, they're going to ask you for what that new manufacturer name is, and I believe some proof there or an invoice to show that it is the correct manufacturer name. John, I don't know if you have any experience with manufacturer names specifically, but I think that's going to be MJ's best bet here.
Yeah. I mean, basically that. I usually use a tool that is called a self-service tool for these locked fields on the flat file. Let me show you here, MJ, very fast. How can you take advantage of this? 1 second. Yep, Here we are. So look, it's called. You're going to find it through Source Central. Putting here suggest changes to your product detail page, and it's called self-service tool. If not, you can reach here through your brand registry. You go to your brand support here, and you will go to very fast to listing issues. And when you go here, you have the option for Seller and Vendor Central. You're going to click here on Suggest Changes to Your Product Detail page, and you're going to fall here into this self-service tool. So it's pretty cool because you're going to just put the ASIN here that you want to change the attribute for, and then you're going to select the attribute that you want to change here. This is kind of a super quick way of doing very difficult things like brand name changes, product descriptions, stuff like that that are not sticking in backend. So, for example, you're going to select your manufacturer, and after you continue here, it's going to prompt you for some more information, or it's going to create a case directly with seller support. So that's going to be like the way to start that case that Zach was mentioning before. It's like a quick way of doing it, and then seller support is going to come back to you and tell you, "Hey MJ, we need this documentation." Or sometimes you will see that the change just it's going to go through without doing anything else. So you can give it a try there.
Yep. Well said. Awesome. And then MJ says, is there a tool that helps with ad spend? I feel like I'm overbidding. The one thing you can do here is to essentially hire a PPC manager, right? If you feel like you're overbidding and you don't have the full grasp of your ad spend here, I would avoid using a software unless it's a semi-automated software where you still have some manual control over it. But aside from that, hire a dedicated PPC expert to manually optimize your bids, prepare a proper segmentation plan for your PPC, and that's going to be your best bet, right? Because if you feel like you're overbidding and you're looking for a tool that helps with ad spend here, again, I would avoid a software just because I feel like having the human touch can really help your account scale. Whereas software and automation tools are great at refining your ACOS, right? And that human touch can also do that here, but I think that a lot of these softwares out there don't have the element maybe to scale. Maybe they negate too quickly, or they change bids too frequently. I've seen that before. So look into a dedicated PPC expert.
Yep, totally. We also have an amazing PPC course on our website, myamazonguy.com slash slash courses somewhere. Here it is. I will Ina can help me with the link maybe. There you go. Thank you very much. And I will, as Zach said, invest in my education based on my own experience that I'm an Amazon seller myself. The best you can do, MJ, is invest on your education, take your PPC courses here or any other place, and get to know your account. And then you will start funneling or filtering, your high ACOS campaigns, understanding about the bidding, the different types of campaigns. I mean, in my experience, is like the best possible investment.
Yep. And in our courses get a bit more granular with this, but generally speaking, when you're looking at bidding, when it comes to PPC, you need to weigh your ACOS and your visibility, right? Because if your bids are too low, your listings are not visible enough. And if your bids are too high, your ACOS is high, right? So if you feel like you're overbidding, I assume you have high ACOS there. Test out a new bid and drop it down, right? See what the impact to sales volume it has, but also to your ACOS, and always be adjusted, right? Because every product has seasonality. Maybe not every product has spiking seasonality, but times change and you need to be bidding with what's currently working for you at the time. So it's a constant adjustment that needs to be made. PPC is not set it and forget it. So just be sure to make sure that you're, adjusting your bids frequently. All right. Rosina says, "Hi, I'm managing an apparel brand in UK. Any tips on how to double sales this fall and winter? What to watch, what to ignore, what to prepare for?"
Apparel. Oh, apparel, apparel. Do you like apparel, Zach?
One of the favorite categories. Joking, just because obviously there's a lot of SKUs and we typically see a higher return rate.
Yeah.
But any tips on how to double the sales this fall and winter? Most brands obviously will start to spike in Q4, right? When Black Friday, Cyber Monday hits, and then December sales sort of take off. And apparel is definitely within that category, is typically what we see here. So, how to double? Any tips on how to double sales? If it's I want to say a seasonal specific type of apparel, let's say it's a Christmas sweater that you're selling, make sure to add those very relevant and important keywords to your listing, right? So that you can start to index and rank for those. And then coming into a peak season, again, like fall or winter, make sure that you are keeping on top of your ad campaign budgets. Nothing is going out of budget. And again, that you're bidding appropriately to keep up with times, right? One thing to make sure of as well is to make sure that you're fully stocked up, right? Because the last thing that you want to be running into is an out of stock issue where you're selling very well, right? But you don't have any stock to support it. You definitely don't want to miss out on any lost BSR here. So make sure that you're stocked up. Make sure that you have all the good keywords in your listing. Make sure that you have your PPC strategy in line when it comes to budget and bids. And last but not least, if you can, try to promote it with some sort of a coupon or a deal that would incentivize conversion rates a bit better, right? Some sort of a promotion or incentive for customers to actually buy your product and take advantage of it now, right? So if you have all those key elements in place, I think that's how you are going to see success this fall and winter.
Yep, totally. Also, Rosina, take into account the overall health of your listing. Images, main image, secondary images, and especially for apparel, it's super important that your variation theme it's concise, it's clear, and not confusing, and that your size charts are pretty clear and conveying exactly how is it that I don't know that sweater, blue jean, whatever is going to fit. So one of the main things in the apparel category, and we see a lot of sellers making these mistakes, is that they are not using the models on their main image. Apparel is one of those categories where you can use a model person on the main image to show how that specific sweater or whatever it's going to fit, it's going to look on it. So make sure that you're using that. And as I mentioned before, inside of your listing, that everything is very, very clear, so you avoid the most amount of returns, the possible returns. Okay.
Well said. Well said. Make sure that also if you are seeing frequent returns on your listings and you see a common reason for that within your NCX report, easily accessible in your Seller Central platform, make sure to address that somehow in your listing, right? It's a tight fit, for example. That could be a common reason for why we see returns. Make sure that you mention that this is more of a tighter fit within your image and your listing, so that you're addressing any of those, return reasons that you typically see. So that could be another strategy there.
Yeah, the best way, honestly, that we've been, adjusting or making more profit on apparel for our clients is on making a better packaging, more adjusted so we can save on fees, and avoiding returns, addressing everything that the clients are, saying on the customer or the voice of the customer or on our reviews, and addressing those so we can get less returns. So you will see how your profit goes up immediately.
Well said. The Thinker says, how long can we live or live a product having organic sales without PPC, and what strategy do you recommend? Okay, how long can we live a product having organic sales without PPC, and what strategy do you recommend? Well, if you want to go down that route and again, not invest in PPC, the best way to do that is to be constantly checking your SQP reports and your keyword tracker, right? Essentially, if you have a Helium 10 account, you can make sure that your listings are connected to Helium 10, where you're tracking all of your keyword trends, whatever you're ranking for organically, and have a decent organic positioning for. Make sure that that's not losing any traction. And if it is, that's where you can kind of back that up with PPC. But PPC aside, it's going to be cycling in a lot of those highly relevant and high quality keywords, like I mentioned, just to be keeping up with the time here. Another thing that you can do is a CTR main image hack. If you don't have one already, CTR is the fastest and most effective way to grow your account aside from PPC, right? Adding a packaging element or a tag, something that really will make your listing pop out and is more eye grabbing in a sea of competitors on a search page. So those are a few, bullet point strategy items that I can think of here. I don't know if you have anything else, John.
No. Basically, that it's the same thing. If you don't want to invest in PPC, then SEO is going to be your best friend. Super good conveying main image that you can show immediately what's your product about, and what are the value props of that product, and then checking on your organic ranking. As Zach was mentioning, if you have Helium 10, you put your ASIN in Cerebro, for example, and you can show the history, the trend history there of your organic ranking, and follow up month by month how, if you are increasing or not your organic ranking, and then you can determine if you can give it a push with some PPC.
Yep, absolutely here. And I can pull up a quick example of what that looks like for Cerebro. And I have one of our Age of Sage listings here that I can pull up. And I will share my screen in a minute. But typically, when we are looking at Cerebro and looking at our keyword distribution when it comes to PPC and organic sales, just sharing my screen right now. John, do you see my screen?
No. Yeah.
There we go. Awesome. Put your ASIN into Cerebro here. It's one of the many tools that Helium 10 has. Let it fetch its data. And what we want to be looking at here in terms of a keyword distribution, because these are where you can see how many keywords you are currently indexed for organically and paid, right? So this is going to be your PPC portion. The best ratio, and typically what we see, and although this doesn't apply to every account, a good ratio to have is a 2-to-1 ratio, 2-to-1 paid search term based on your total keyword distribution, right? So here we have a pretty decent amount. And again, you want to be ranking organically, and it depends on your category. Some of them are more niche, but having at least 1,000 in your organic ranking is going to be key here to your organic growth, your organic sales. But supplementing that with PPC, again, is going to be a great way to further scale your account and your listing, and make sure that you try to keep it at a 2-to-1 distribution.
Yeah, and if you click on the show historical trend there, you can, track what's been happening, for the last 24 months, or you can change the date range there, and you see how we can see the difference. I believe the purple ones are the paid ones, and
Correct.
the orange are the organic ones. So you will have the exact count there, and you can see, oh, we're improving, we're not improving, we need to push here more or not.
Yep. Awesome. Hope that helps answer your question. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your questions. We're happy to help. Awesome. Rosina says, can we use pictures submitted by buyers in reviews as listing images on the same PDP? Ooh,
Uh,
I'm not
it's
sure
kind of
actually about this one.
it's kind of a gray area, Rosina. I mean, you could, but remember that whenever you're using anyone's, material, pictures or whatever, you could be incurring on a copyright infringement, and that's one of the violations that we can report on Amazon. But you know. We see everything on Amazon, so you could download that picture if you really liked it, and you can try upload it. I wouldn't recommend it, honestly. I am always more like into creating your own pictures, not even if you are reselling from a Chinese supplier using those images, because then you will find like 10, 20, 30 competitors with the same pictures. So I always recommend like using your own pictures. It's like the best approach in my opinion. I don't know, Zach,
Yeah,
what do you mean?
I agree with John here, Rosina. If you can try to do your own pictures, your own photography, your own UGC content if you wanted to, and your chance of receiving a copyright if you do use your buyer review images is very low. But if it is a great image and we see it on the review, um, again, picture a customer showing up on your listing and seeing the same picture on the listing as they do in the reviews. I think you're better off again, you know, submitting your own pictures, doing your own creative assets, and not utilizing your reviews. Let the review speak for itself, right? It's
Yeah.
great that your customers are posting images, sometimes videos, showing your product. Um, but when it comes to your listing, keep your listing images created on your own.
Yeah,
That's all.
and Rosina, it can look like a fake review. That if you're using like the same picture of the review, the thing with the reviews is that they, and especially when they have pictures of or videos, is that you want them. They're super powerful for your listing. They empower your product, or they can kill it if it's a bad one. But if it's a good one, then you want to keep it as it is, and separate that from the pictures that you have on your image stack.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. I had not thought of that
Yeah.
before.
Yeah,
Kind of
great.
stumped me on that one. Awesome. John Delaney says, how can you make a free item claim code on Amazon? Percentage off promotion seems to offer up to 50% off and no money off option currently. Yes, correct. The percentage off promotion does have a limit to what you can offer dollar percentage wise. Uh, I'd prefer to ask you, why do you want to add a free item claim code on Amazon? Um, Maybe there's a specific reason for that, but I'm not sure if there's a way to do that with promotions directly, unless it's a buy one get one free. Um, in terms of the options that Amazon presents to us from the promotions page, the only free type of promotion that you can get where you receive an item for free is through a buy one get one off. But John Urban, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong there. I don't know if there's another way.
No, no. Very interesting question. I've never thought about it, and yeah, definitely the only possibility you have is a percentage off. And as Zach is saying, the only way to give like a free item would be like a buy one get one. But even though I believe that it would be buy one get one with the percentage or an amount of. I'm
Yeah.
checking very fast here, and I don't think we can buy one get one. Yeah, buy one get one free. Yep,
Right.
that's it. It's the only chance you have, John.
Right.
Definitely.
Yep. Yep. Feel free to shoot us an email at podcast@myamazonguy.com. We can always circle back and just make sure that we're 100% on this.
Yeah.
Maybe there is another way to do it. I just can't think of a way to do it or a reason why to do it. But feel free to leave that in the comment here, and that way it can kind of give us some background as to why you'd want to offer a free item code on
Yeah,
Amazon.
what I can think here, Zach, and I don't know, John, if I'm on the right track here, is that maybe you're just launching your product and you want to do like giveaways, and give a code for people to go look for your product, and
Yep.
create this organic. This is what I am thinking of, but no, there's no way that you can do it through Amazon like that.
Right. And another thing here is that um, for a customer to be able to leave a review on your PDP, the price point cannot be below a certain amount. And I forget what that amount is, but if you're offering a free product to someone on Amazon, they will not be able to leave a review on your listing. Again, I'm 90% sure of that. We can always double check here, but those are my thoughts. Awesome. Doug says, yes, brand registered now, but the trademark is pending. That was our previous question, John,
Yeah.
from Doug. What's the best
Yeah.
place to report them? I think you covered that.
Yeah, we covered that. In this case, the best way is to go to the website amazon.com/report
Yep.
/infringement. Make sure you won't get a case number or case ID when you use that portal. So make sure you screenshot when you report, so you can have proof of that, because you won't get any email or anything at all. Okay, so for you to follow up, you will need to have that screenshot at the end.
Yep. Doug also says, report unauthorized sellers, question mark. I'm concerned about retaliation from the sellers if Amazon removes them. When I sent cease and desist, they sent me a counterfeit. Huh.
Uh, yeah, Doc, I've been through this. Believe me, it's not an easy thing. It's a real pain. The best way here is, you can keep opening cases. Now, remember that you cannot, and they cannot also report your product as a counterfeit if you're selling how do you say, a real product. I mean, not a copy. If you're selling the product, an original product, they cannot report that, and you can win that counterfeit violation report, to name it. Okay, so, and you shouldn't do it on your side either. So, it's a tricky one. It's an open market, Amazon, so anyone can sell, original products, even if they're not authorized. So whenever you have your brand fully registered is when you will have your best shot here to take them down.
yeah.
That's yeah,
And
that's
Doug,
me.
feel free to reach out to us because obviously we have dedicated Amazon specialists that follow. We have documented SOPs on how to get rid of unauthorized sellers, right? If option one doesn't work, we have an option B, for example. And a cease and desist letter is kind of part of our SOP processes. But if you're ever feeling stuck, you can reach out to us and have one of our dedicated specialists from our website order team help you out, if ever it need be. Perfect. Next question here is from MJ. Are there any third-party ad managers that can help with overspending on bids? Yeah, I think we kind of covered that. what's out there is essentially software that will it's AI software that'll automatically adjust your bids, and I think those are not optimal for your account because they cannot scale. Although they might do a good job at reducing ACOS, you need a human touch in order to scale and a human decision to be able to know when to bid more, when to bid less, how to segment, and how to budget your campaigns. Aside from that, again, hire a PPC manager, an expert. We have PPC management as part of our servicing contracts that you can sign up for. Again, head over to myamazonguy.com and navigate to PPC. We'll be able to help you out too. Otherwise, there's some software out there that you can use. Perfect. Travis Reed says, my brand Carousel is showing above and below my A+ contents on my ASIN. How can I get it to be above for all my ASINs since it's mixed for my catalog? So, yeah, this is category dependent. So, depending on what category your products you're in, and I'm not exactly sure why Amazon does it this way, but for some categories, they're putting the the brand story above the A+ content, and sometimes they're putting it below. Most of the time, it's above the A+ content. And I don't think that's something, unfortunately, that we can control. As much as we'd love to have it above the A+, just because it looks better. You have a brand statement first, and then you have your A+. That's more product specific. But John, I don't know if you have any other thoughts here, but I don't think there's anything you can do there.
Yeah, I mean, we've opened tons of cases, related to these, and no, nothing we can do. And yeah, it was supposed to be category based, but I can tell you that I have accounts that within the same category, the same a client has, some ASINs with the A+ above the brand story, or so yeah, nothing we can do for the moment.
Yeah. It's just Amazon being inconsistent there. But yeah, that's nothing you can do. All right. Next question. Hello from Karim. Hi, Karim. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining us. Roro says, I started PPC campaign last week. Most keywords are not getting any bids. A few have little spends and only 2 are getting the bids. And I have 8 orders from those 2 keyword, but ACOS is very high and a total of 245%. Wow. Okay. Roro, first and foremost, for the bids that you're not getting any traction for, that are not spending or not receiving any clicks, you need to make sure that you're properly bidding on those, right? So if your bids are too low, they're not going to be visible. They're not going to get clicks or spend or any sales, right? And then for the other bids that are getting some orders here, you might want to look at refining them a bit, right? Because if your total ACOS is at 245%, that's very high. And it sounds like you just are launching a new product, if I understand correctly. So it's possible that your ACOS is a little higher upon launch, but 245 is something I would never recommend when it comes to PPC. So either shut that campaign off completely or segment those keywords that are getting orders into a new campaign and do some further keyword research here. So make sure that your bids are in order. Make sure that you're better segmenting keywords that are getting orders. And I think that would be a decent start here. John, do you have any other thoughts?
No, exactly the same. When I'm launching products, I love to start with automatic campaigns. So we can gather some data after the first 15 days, and then with your search term, report, you can understand better which are the keywords that are converting or performing better, and then with those automatic campaigns, make sure you don't put more than 5, 10. You don't target more than 5 to 10 keywords, because we tend to put, I don't know, 100 keywords there, and then we start like cannibalizing our own keywords inside the campaign. So make sure you create different campaigns, different automatic campaigns, and if you have really, really relevant keywords that that you would like to rank for, yes, then you can start with some phrase or broad campaigns there. But basically, I will start like that, and then funneling, like Zach said before.
100% agree. 100% agree. If you have a fully built out listing with, again, good copy, title, bullet points, descriptions, your auto campaign should be able to get special placements on Amazon where you are sourcing a lot of great keywords that you can then segment into your manual campaigns where you have more control over your bids and your budgets there. So that will be a good start. Absolutely agree with John here. Awesome. And then Doug says, is there any way to upgrade a legacy ASIN into your brand registry? One of my top ASINs is years old, and it would be great if I could upgrade it to brand registry. I think what you mean here, Doug, is add it into your brand registry just to make sure that that ASIN is in fact brand registered and protected under brand registry. But if your account is brand registered and that legacy ASIN is under that brand, then it should be in there. I'm not sure what you mean by upgrade. John, do you have any thoughts here?
The only thing that I can think of is that maybe he created that ASIN, he added that product as generic before having his brand registry. And correct me if I'm wrong, Doc, here. And then after you did your brand registry, trademark, etc., you still have that ASIN under a generic, brand name. So now you would like to change that under your brand register, trademark. So that's what I understand from this. That will mean that you will need to do a brand name change if that's the case.
Yep.
And for that, well, you have different options. I mean, you can use the self-service tool that I explained before. That's going to create a case. Honestly, that for the brand name change, that won't work most of the times, but that will put you into the race with service support, and they will ask you for the documentation that will basically be your trademark receipt where you have your serial number. You will have to send pictures of your product with your brand on it, not a sticker, your brand really on it. You will have to send invoices from your manufacturer probably. And what else I may be missing here, Zach? I believe that's it, basically. And it will be a back and forth with Amazon for you to do that brand name change.
Yep, I think you covered it. Awesome. Gabriel says, I was recently approved for brand registry, but a Chinese seller was able to add themselves as brand owner for one of my ASINs. Wow, I have not seen that before, I'll be honest. Before my brand approval. What's the solution to kick them out of listing? Amazon support told me they can't do anything because it involves Amazon Japan marketplace. What are my options?
Yes. Yeah, this is a problem, Gabriel. The thing here is that when you do your brand registry for one marketplace, let's say the US, you can create and have your brand registry privileges for other marketplaces, yes, but you won't be protected unless you register your trademark in each of those countries. So if you want to be protected and kick another, reseller or unauthorized reseller or hijacker, reseller in this case, you will need to have your brand, your trademark fully registered in Japan, for example. The same for Europe or any other country. It happens a lot to our clients, especially in the European marketplace, because they register their trademark in, I don't know, Spain and Italy, because they want to save some money, and they don't do it for the whole European Union. And then they see their brand replicated or some other resellers in, I don't know, Germany or Italy. Okay, so the only way to be fully protected is that you do your trademark, you register your trademark in all of the other marketplaces.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's exactly the advice he was looking for. So, again, make sure that you're brand registered in all marketplaces that you're in. All right. We are at time, but John, if you're good, I say we go for a couple more minutes, 5 or 10 more minutes, and try to get some more questions answered here.
I'm having a lot of fun, man, so
Awesome.
I can keep going forward.
Awesome. Thinkerish says, does the page position of a product tells if you are overbidding? Does the page position of a product tell you if you are overbidding?
BSR, maybe? Your ranking? Thinkerish?
I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. Feel free to clarify in the comments here, but I have a feeling it's not BSR. It's more organic positioning.
Oh, yeah.
So if you see a sponsored listing and it will say sponsored below it, that's how you know it's an ad placement. And the higher your ad placement is, the higher your bid is, right? Because the higher you bid, the higher up on the product page you'll show. Is it a tell though if you're overbidding? Not necessarily, because the bid can be performing well. You can be that number one sponsored product ad position on the page, and it's a perfectly bidded keyword and search term where you're getting a good amount of orders at a decent ACOS. So it's not necessarily a tell if you're overbidding. Not exactly sure what you mean, but I hope I was able to answer you there.
Yeah, I think you got it. Yeah.
Okay. Roro says, I'm spending too much on PPC with those keywords that makes ACOS 200%. Keywords are similar. Should I focus on lower search volume within those keywords to get orders from those? I would say, because obviously, do I find other keywords that have lower search volume that cost less? I'm in pet products. I'm also on the first page and second page on other. What I would say here is if you have keywords that are getting orders and that are too high of an ACOS, number one, bid lower, right? So lower your bids because no one can sustain a 200+% ACOS. And number two here is expand into long tails, right? Long tail keywords and search terms are ones that have, several words within them that are lower in search volume and typically have a lower CPC, right? If you can invest in those, and again, there's some interest to be gauged here because you are getting orders for those keywords. Make sure that you're also investing in those long tails that are utilizing those same search terms and keywords that you're already bidding for, right? But you need to lower the bids on the ones that are getting you a very high ACOS. There's no doubt about it. 200% is too much, even on a product launch. And aside from that, expand into your long tail keywords. Awesome.
I think I saw Noah around here. Hey.
Noah says you guys are killing it. Appreciate you, Noah. For those of you wondering, we're actually just filling in for Noah this week and next week. Noah is currently on vacation. He's doing a bit of traveling, but appreciate the shout out, Noah. Hope you're doing well. If we can go back to that previous question from Corey. Corey joining us from LinkedIn says, I launched last week, wanted to expand to TikTok Shop and use FBA to fulfill. Is that possible to use FBA instead of having a separate fulfillment inventory? I want to say yes. Yes, because you can use MCF multi-channel fulfillment with FBA, where if you're getting orders to your Shopify store or through your TikTok shop store, those orders can still be fulfilled via FBA. I believe there's software out there that can integrate that. Um, but to answer your question, yes, it is possible. I think so.
We have a good one here. The next one. Yeah.
All right. Question from Kelly Mendez. Hi. How can I choose a reliable supplier in China or elsewhere in the world? For example, I would like to import some products from India and other places.
That's a good one. Okay, so basically, Kelly, I will have to let me share my screen here. We have different options. Let me show you here very fast. The most common place to find a supplier from China is Alibaba, of course, alibaba.com. Let me go here and share my screen so I can go to that one. Okay, don't want to mess it up. Here it is. So as you can see here, you have Alibaba.com, and you can look here for whatever product you want from China. How do you know if it's a reliable supplier? Let's go here for these things that we have here. Let's go for the electric scooter, for example. The first thing that you want to make sure when you're going to one of these websites is that you are looking first for a verified supplier here. Okay, you don't need to go to pro supplier, but just with the verified supplier, you're going to be okay. This means that Alibaba already verified, and for them to be here, they have to pay a lot of money. So not just any supplier, goes for a verified supplier if they're not really a big one. And then you want to make sure that they accept trade assurance.
Yep.
Okay, so trade assurance for me, in my opinion, I don't know, Sam, what do you think, but it's a must. I don't buy on Alibaba.com if I don't have trade assurance, to back up my payments. So after you do this, then you want to, instead of being on the products tab here, you want to go to, for example, manufacturers here. You can go to, verify manufacturers, and you will do the same thing. Trade assurance instead of products, and then verify suppliers. And then you will look for your product. Okay, this will filter immediately, and you will see here the amount of years, and then you have to go and dig into these suppliers, look for certifications and a lot of stuff, a lot of information. I can tell you on my own experience that the better the supplier is, the higher the cost will be. But you don't want to save money, and especially if you're starting on this business for the first time, you want to make sure that you go for a reliable supplier. Then you were saying that you wanted to go and import some products from India. Then on the same Alibaba, you have different places that you can go to, but on the same Alibaba.com website, you can go here at the end, if I'm not mistaken, and look for different suppliers by region. If you go here to view more, we should have India and all of the other countries here. So you're going to check here for India, and then you'll do exactly the same process. I don't know why it didn't send me to the India Alibaba marketplace, but you can look for it here. You have another one for India that is very interesting, that it's called Global Sources. I'm not sure. Let me check. India Global Sources. Yep, this one, India manufacturers. This one, and I believe you have one that it's called also Trade India, or Trade India, and like that you will find. Yep, here you have a lot of other marketplaces within the same. This is kind of other Alibabas, more local, more focused on this specific marketplace. And here, the same process. You will look for the products that you want here. I don't know, bags, for example, and then here you go to your supplier list, not product list. So you can look for the suppliers, and look, you will have here kind of the same format: advanced, verified manufacturers, and then it's back and forth with the suppliers. This, I believe, in my opinion, is one of the hardest thing in the whole creation of your project, finding a right supplier. So, well,
Yep.
that helps.
I agree. And obviously, generally speaking, make sure that you're utilizing a supplier that's reliable, right? That has sold products, that has reviews, that is legitimate, right? And Alibaba is going to be the best place to do that. Make sure that you're submitting your verified, you're selecting that verified option and using trade assurance for that backup. Great question.
Yeah.
Jonathan says, how often should I be modifying my listings? My current listing seems to be working well as I am frequently sold out, but perhaps I could do better. Jonathan, the first thing I would say there is make sure that you're not selling out, right? Because whenever you do sell out of inventory is key. You need to make sure that if you do sell out, what's going to happen is that you're going to lose out on momentum. You're going to lose out in your BSR, and your organic rank placements are going to drop, right? So I wouldn't be focused on modifying my listing right now. I would just make sure that you have enough in stock to not sell out. So that's number one. That's number one rule of Amazon is to never go out of stock. And then to answer your question of how often should I be modifying my listing, it's going to depend, but it should be regularly, right? So you should be doing this regularly in the sense that you should be looking at your keyword trends when it comes to SEO and be modifying your listings on a regular basis, right? And here at My Amazon Guy, we have a process for SEO. Essentially, it goes from phases 1 through 4, and it's ongoing work. SEO is ongoing work, just like PPC advertising is, right? Where we're constantly cycling in and funneling high quality, relevant keywords into our listings, taking a look at SQP report, right, from the brand analytics page. And I can kind of show you guys what that looks like here. And I will share my screen. So if you hop over into brand analytics, and then under search analytics, you go into your SQP, your search query performance report. Let's take a brand here. We can look at it on a specific time frame. You can essentially just see here, what are your most highly relevant and high quality keywords, and essentially score them based on your search query score that you get. So you get your search volumes here, you get how many impression shares you have, right? So for example, a very large keyword, broad keyword like Target Stand has a search volume of 46K, and we occupy 0.5% of the total impression brand share for that specific keyword, right? You want to be sure that you can take up a little bit more of that brand share if you see a good opportunity there by recycling that into your SEO, to your back end and front end copy as well. So updating your listings every so often. And again, we talked about those returns and seeing that, hey, if there's a common feedback that we're getting from customers, such as reviews or return reasons, we can address some of those into our images, into our listings. Another thing we do when it comes to design and images is look at the demographics within our brand analytics, just to get an idea for our customer base. What is their demographic, right? Are they an older crowd or a younger crowd, male or female, and certain attributions that we can essentially duplicate and add to our listing to make sure that it is tailored and focused to the loyal customer base. John, do you have any other pointers to share here?
No, I mean, we have a lot of videos, Jonathan, on Stephen has a lot of videos talking about the ICAP. How do we use the ICAP is basically what Zach is explaining there. It's how do we manage the relation between impressions, clicks, add to carts, and purchases. Okay, so even on our website, myamazonguy.com/ICAP, I believe. I'm sorry, I'm killing you. I know. If you can post the link there, would be great. Then you can understand what is happening with your listing, and then you can determine where is it that you need to do some adjustments. If you have a lot of impressions, for example, but not that many purchases, okay, and you will see when you go into that section, then that means that you have a conversion issue. Okay, so you need to work probably on your listing images, etc. If you have a high conversion but a small amount of impressions, less amount of impressions, then you know that you have a better shot that you can spend, for example, on your advertising and create more awareness. So what Zach was showing you in terms of the SQP report, it's magical for us. I believe we use it to detect and determine a lot of things there. So yeah, that would be the first place that I would go to.
Yep, totally agree. And if I can share my screen again, just wanted to show you what that ICAP marketing funnel looks like. And everything is documented within that SQP report. Again, think of your audiences in terms of a funnel, right? You get your impressions at the very top. These are eyes that are on your products, and your purchases down here is going to be your loyal customer base, right? And understanding those numbers from SQP is crucial and definitely part of our SEO phases, as well as our PPC strategy as well. But yeah, I think we covered that pretty well here. Link is below on the banner. We can move on to the next question. And that is coming from Kareem. I had subscribers for my product, but then I received a UPC error on Amazon for that specific item. Consequently, I lost all subscribers. Yikes. I opened a case with Amazon 3 months ago, but it's still unresolved. Is there any alternative way to recover my subscribers or pursue a claim against Amazon seller support? So the first thing I'd ask you here is your UPC code GS1 certified, right? Because that is the database that Amazon uses for all UPCs that are being registered within Seller Central. So I'm not exactly sure what type of error you saw here, but I imagine that they had to close your listing or it was suppressed, and during that period, you cannot fulfill your orders to your subscribers, so you lost those subscribers. A good way to, and again, I haven't seen this before myself, right? So I wouldn't know what the best path forward here is for you, but you can be persistent with seller support. Show them that you had a higher amount of subscribers previously, and maybe even if you wanted to create a new ASIN or SKU with a different UPC, have those subscribers transferred over there. And I think now Amazon has made it a little bit easier to do so here. But with your specific situation, I'm not exactly sure what that might look like. If your subscriber dashboard is now showing that you don't have any subscribers, then it might be a tough case to follow up with here. Any thoughts on that, John?
Yeah, I'm thinking, the first thing that we need, exactly as you mentioned, is to understand if that UPC error was because you had a UPC on the name of another company, not on yours. Maybe it was exactly that, not a GS1 certified UPC. So if that's the case, the first thing that you need to do here is just get a UPC. I don't know if you did that already. Get a GS1 certified UPC. try to attach it to your ASIN, and then try to find that case back as you've been doing. Because if I'm not mistaken, our subscribers are going to be on a ASIN level. So with that said, you can find those subscribers. Those should be attached still to the ASIN. Just try to make sure that when you're fighting the case, you have a valid UPC, so you can have everything on point, on track with with the case, to have a case. If not, it's going to be very difficult. Honestly, I've had a lot of issues troubleshooting ASINs that don't have a UPC attached, or GTIN exempt,
Yeah.
or with the UPC that doesn't belong to the company or the brand name, the brand
Right.
that we're working for.
And actually, I think subscribers are on a SKU basis just because you can have that FBA option, but recently you can also do seller fulfilled subscriptions as of recently. So if you have an FBM listing that does pretty well, you don't like FBA for whatever reason, you can still enroll that SKU into subscribers and transfer it between SKUs of the same ASIN. All right. Thinkerish said, I hired Mac to do my listing and have no issues. Awesome. Glad we can help.
Great.
Awesome to hear. Roro with the $1.99 tip. Thank you very much. How do I know my bid was with every order on PPC? You're going to have to pull a search term report here, Roro. And the way to do that is going to be into going to your reporting in the ads console and download what's called a search term report. Go for a 30-day time frame or whatever time frame you want, but I recommend 30 days. And you're going to be able to see exactly what each search term's orders were attributed to which ASIN, right? To which product. And based on that, so if you have multiple products inside an ad group with multiple keywords, it's harder to track, but you get that information with a search term report. And again, when you're segmenting your campaigns on PPC, I like to keep it one product per ad group. And that way you can ensure that all those keywords are targeting that specific product. Now, if it's a parentage with multiple child variations, you can add a few in there. Just make sure that your best-selling child variation is in there, and then you can kind of segment the others into other campaigns, right? So how do I know if my bid was with every order on PPC? Again, that search term report is going to get you that information, that exact click, and what that exact cost was, and which ASIN it was attributed to. Hope I answered your question there. John, feel free to jump in, but I think I covered it there.
Nothing to add, man. Yeah.
Okay. John Delaney says, understood. Thank you for your thoughts on this. You're welcome. Awesome. Travis Reed says, thank you. Thank you for joining us, Travis. Doug says, yes, ASIN was created prior to creating my brand. Thank you. This is very helpful. Thank you for joining. Rosina says, wonderful session. Tons of value. Good questions. Super answers. Thank you. And thank you for that feedback, Rosina. We appreciate everything. It's been a pleasure hosting this week's live AMA with my friend John here. We are going to be live next Friday as well, again, covering for NOAA. So if you didn't get a chance to have your questions answered this week, feel free to jump in on the live stream early next week. The earlier you get your questions in, the higher chance we have of answering them, because I don't think we got through everything here today. But it's been a pleasure, and hope we helped out.
Have a good one, guys. Thank you, Zach. Pleasure.